What's going on, y'all? My name is Christopher Life Willers, and this is the Stay Free Show. This is a place where every single day, to the best of my ability, every single chance I get, I come in here and I speak about things that are important to not just me, but to what I believe is a large percentage of people. Today is a unique conversation. I'm excited about this conversation right here. It's going to be really organic. Matter of fact, who am I here with today, man?
Hey, my name is David Smith. I'm the founder and director of the Thrive Film Festival. Did about 3 years down, and now just try to change the narrative about what it means to have survived incarceration.
That's it, man. We're keeping it organic on this one, man, because we're getting into creativity and arts and all that. Um, Anybody that knows me, anybody that supports any of my stuff, man, the OG Chronicles. I'm like 400 episodes in. It's a personal challenge of mine to do one of these things every day. I believe in the arts. I love the arts. Art was probably a major part of my therapy and the ability to express a lot of the stuff that I've been through when it comes to prison and just life. So when I heard about the work that you do, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I didn't know that you did 3 years either. I didn't know the backstory, any of that. You know, can you shine a light on what I'm talking about? And you touched on it, but you do a lot of things with films. You do a lot of stuff with creativity. You give people platforms, but just man, let's get into that right now, man.
Yeah, so I am going to admit I'm not an artistic person. That's not my thing. And I didn't realize what I was getting into when I started this. This all grew out of my advocacy work and my work actually working for a legislator in the Virginia General Assembly after I got
Nice.
out of prison. And I was talking to these legislators, talking to these folks who were much more conservative than me politically, and saying, look, I agree with what you're doing, but we need to change the hearts and minds of my constituents. How do you do that?
Right.
And it wasn't an aha moment right away, but it grew into this idea of if media, if TV, if podcasts, if movies are creating this false narrative about what it means to be incarcerated, what would happen if we create a platform for people who have been incarcerated, who have survived incarceration, to be able to share their story on their terms?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do here. That's kind of the whole genesis of the idea.
Yeah, that's powerful. We don't get platforms. We and very seldom are we moved to be creative. By the way, I feel like a lot of us the light's taken away. But um, at the same time, when I was in the prison system, similar to music, or excuse me, arts. I mean, it is arts, but music was a big
Mhm.
thing. I heard some of the most amazing rappers and singers and all types of just people at Greensville. They had the music room where I was at. Guys go in there and play rock. It was just the most amazing thing. And for like 3 minutes while they were playing that song, we were free.
Yeah.
Like it was the music that drowned out, everything else.
Look, man,
Um,
I was in the hole in Norfolk because white guy, suburban white guy. Oh, let's keep the dude safe. Put him in the hole.
mhm.
The guys on my block would knock out these beats on
Yeah,
those steel doors and just hit those
yeah.
rhymes and those lyrics. And I'm sitting here as a suburban white dude, be like, man, this is like some MC Hammer, Arrested
Right.
Development stuff going on
Right.
back here.
Yeah, 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 for sure, man, for sure. I think out of pain comes art,
Mhm.
right? It's such a big inspiration, and I think at the same time, I think it was as you were getting into this, you said you didn't know what you were getting into in that, but you were an advocate and you knew, you know, what was the first step? Like, did somebody come to you with did you what I mean, what was that
No,
part?
so this was an idea I had. It kind of percolated in some conversations with just random friends here in Richmond, Virginia. And when I got to that point in life where I felt stable enough to do something crazy like this, I just started making phone calls.
Nice.
I was connected with some national organizations, and I reached out to some of those folks and said, "Who's doing something in this space? Who's making films?" Because at the time there was no other film festival celebrating incarceration survivors,
Yeah.
and this was had not been done. And there were some people that kind of talked about it. There were some filmmaking advocacy groups that kind of talked about it, but they
Mhm.
never actually pulled the trigger. And
Mhm.
they started introducing me to more people. I was reaching out to film festivals here in Richmond, and I've got to give a big shout out to the director of the Pocahontas Reframe Film Festival in Richmond, because I've
Mhm.
really taken a lot of inspiration from them. That's one that is all about celebrating Indigenous voices
Mhm.
and really lifting up
Nice.
that community and letting them once again tell their story on their
Right.
terms, right? And so just talking to all these people, figuring everything out, because I got into this thinking, oh, film is cheap. You take your iPhone, you take your Android out there, you can just do a quick live like we're doing right now, and boom, you've got a film.
Yeah.
Did not realize it was like 20 grand, 15 grand to do a
Yeah.
little 10-minute short. Blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's actually, let me take that to the next level here, because it's not just film, it's really any artistic expression.
Yeah.
We've been blessed to be able to partner with the Humanization Project. I think you had Taj on here recently.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Humanization Project.
exactly.
Yep.
And they'll actually get guys on the phone to do spoken word, and they'll record that, and they'll put the lyrics
Yeah.
up, and we're able to play those back for folks. We're working with artists when they get out to actually show their work, to give them maybe that first
Powerful.
place. Our very first film festival, we had a guy sell his first piece of artwork ever at it, and that just blew my mind. That
The
it's just
great
you can do that.
the greatest piece of art I've ever seen, and I've seen Banksy and I've seen some stuff, right?
Yeah,
On,
yeah.
on TV and in person. Unfortunately, greatest piece I ever seen was this white dude, man. They called him Schizo. He was not. Well, I get to everybody else he was. You sit down to him, we drink a cup of keefy and we'd have converse. Very intellectual guy.
Mhm, mhm.
He drew a picture of a tree, like a tree stump. But as he would back away from you, it turned into Jesus with the I was like, how do you draw something up close
Perspective.
and far away at the same time? I'm like, my mind doesn't work like that. Art is powerful.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when you're locked up and you don't feel like you have a voice, or even when you
Yeah,
get out and you don't feel like you have a voice, art is a way that you can give voice to those feelings. So whether it's
yeah,
something very personal or whether it's some movement action you're trying to do, that art, it doesn't care what your money is, it doesn't care what your income level is, it doesn't care what your influence is in the community, how many followers
right.
you have. If you can make something that resonates, that grabs that person's attention, it's powerful, it's
Yeah,
transformative.
yeah. You touch the soul. You do it
Yeah.
right. What I get so you started this platform, this festival. You're starting to get movies out there. You're making calls. You're connecting the dots. I gotta ask you. And if anybody's asked you, and I don't know if this is a fair question. You might not want to answer out loud. Where could you give me like one or two movie? I don't want to say like the best ones you've seen, but like it just hits you. You were like, yo,
There's one that I always fall back on. It's from our very first season. Shannon Ross, who, if you haven't had him on your show, you should get him on your show too.
let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
he's the executive director of an organization out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Mm,
and the community is what it's called, and they're
mm,
doing all this work to help bridge that gap between incarceration and reentry.
mm.
And he made this spoken word piece called Two Wolves. That's basically about how do you see yourself versus how society sees you,
That sounds hard.
and
Two
really
wolves.
leaning into all these incredible people that have been incarcerated and came out and have done amazing things, just to change that perspective. And it's a beautifully written, a beautifully performed piece. Um, the cinematography in the short spoken word piece is just, it takes you into the prisons, and it's just wonderful. So that's one of my favorites. Another one is from this season, and I am actually part of this film. I got a call from a lady named Margaret Breslau, who does
Sweet.
a lot of work here in Virginia, and she's like, hey, can you do a little bit of voiceover for this film I'm doing? And I end up like
Yeah.
actually being on screen doing
Okay.
this thing. And it's called Where's My Coffee Cup? It's actually from the letters of a guy in Dillwyn here in Virginia, which is like our senior citizen prison. It's our
Yeah.
one of our geriatric prisons. And the guy's been locked up forever. And they take his coffee cup. This coffee cup he's had for like 20 years because it's too thick. Like, oh, you might bash it over somebody,
Right.
but for him, that was his. That was something that had been with him through all these years of his time. And now they're like taking it away. And the
That's
director,
deep.
Yehuda, created this film, which never goes inside of a prison, but by the folks that are highlighted in the film sharing his words, because we're basically just reciting his letters. He weaves this narrative that takes you into the mental anguish of growing old in prison.
Wow.
It's experimental. It's like 30 minutes long. It's not for everybody,
Right.
but it's one of those films that just hits you with the power of storytelling when you actually give voice to those words of somebody who may never come out of prison.
You got to be daring with the arts and that topic right there, it doesn't get discussed enough. And again, I'm just thinking about when I was in going into Greensville, the hospice unit or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and the gentlemen, some of they were so old in the system, they didn't maybe suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's, something. They didn't even know where they were,
Yeah.
and we just go sit back there, be present with them. Very
Like,
somber,
how are we locking up people like that? I mean, what's the point?
man. It's yeah, I posted something to give a narrative to it about a gentleman, Mr. T, that was 85 years of age,
Mm-hmm.
and not saying he was innocent or any of that, but had been in there over 60 years. Like that says a lot.
Yeah. What is the point of the punishment? I mean, is that even punishment at that point?
He
Is
couldn't even walk. He could
Yeah.
barely walk. He could
He's not a danger to society.
no.
Yeah.
No, 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 man. It's deep. What are the different you touched on, and that's an amazing. I'm just thinking about the two concepts that you just explained right there. Especially the second one seems complex. But what are some other things in terms of art that you've seen that you're like, oh wow, this is amazing, or it got the wheels spinning? Because I want people to understand, like, man, there's some amazing arts, amazing movies. Like, you don't have to go watch the big screen or go with AMC.
Yeah, and just if anyone gets intrigued by any of these films we're mentioning, on our website, on and
Mhm.
Thrive Film Festival, you can just Google us there. We've got all of the films from every season listed there, and there are links to whichever ones are actually available to be found online. Um,
Nice.
but there's this other film made by a guy named Adamu Chan, who is an incredible filmmaker who really learned the craft, I think, at San Quentin. And um, it's called What These Walls Won't Hold. And this was actually featured on PBS for a while. They had it on one of those documentary series on PBS a
Yeah.
couple years ago.
PBS is gone now.
It devastated the filmmaking community because so much of these funds to make these films comes through paths through agencies. So you think, oh yeah, lower taxes, but what's the 250 you're saving actually doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Adamu created this wonderful storytelling of love in the time of COVID, not just love between him and his partner on the outside, but that love between folks who have been locked up for years together.
Yeah.
And what is it
Yeah.
like as folks are leaving prison? How do you stay connected? And then you put on top of
True.
that all that fear around COVID. I was out by the time COVID came out, but I couldn't imagine the fear of being locked up and having nowhere to isolate. And COVID is ravaging the prison that you're in.
Yeah. And you're watching the news and they're talking about, I remember that they were talking about the Black Winter. I came home about 3 weeks, or maybe, excuse me, 3 months before the pandemic started,
Yeah.
officially underway. But what are some of the things we were talking, like, are you bringing this around the country? What does this look like? How can
Yeah, look,
people
this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into as many different communities as possible. So I'm based in Virginia. I've got a great partnership with a group called Virginia Cares, which is a statewide
shout out to Virginia Cares?
reentry agency. And they've been really supportive. They've worked with us to bring it into a lot of the communities that they're serving around the state of Virginia. And beyond that, it's basically through people I've met or who I knew beforehand or who have been introduced to me to say, hey, why don't we bring the festival to our town? So
Mhm.
last season, which was the 24-25 season, we went out of Virginia for the first time. That was our second season. And we went to Boston with Emerson College. They've got an incredible program up there called
Nice.
the Emerson Prison Initiative. We're excited to be going back there again. We went to Columbus, Ohio. The Returning Artists Guild is an incredible group out there. And they brought us out there with some other local folks. And then to South Bend, Indiana, with
Shout out to South Bend.
the
Back in
support
my
of
days.
your place back there. You got some
I'm
South
a
Bend.
Chicago guy, but I got some stories about South Bend.
I didn't realize how close they were. I
It-
mean, South Bend, Indiana. I'm assuming it's in southern part of Indiana, not like right up there in
They're close
Michigan.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah. So the folks with Indiana Cure and Reform Alliance
Mhm.
brought us out there. So that was incredible. We're actually going back. We're looking to partner with Notre Dame this year,
That's nice.
to do like a 3-day event in South Bend.
That'd be yeah.
Because what the thing about this is we can go into places where your normal reform organization wouldn't be able to go to.
This is true.
Because we can go in there and say, hey, watch these films.
This is true.
I never make an ask of anybody there that comes to us. It's not show up and do X, Y, or Z. It's
Hmm.
show up and listen to these stories. That's the ask we're making.
Yeah.
So we go into these places. Like we were in Abington, Virginia,
Mm.
which is far
I don't even know
southwest
what that.
Virginia.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
was
like,
about to say.
I mean, it is Washington
Not that I'm like
County.
the most foremost, of Virginia, but
Yeah, I'm looking. It's probably closer to Atlanta than it is to
okay.
me.
Yeah.
It's that far west
Yes.
in Virginia.
Yeah.
So we go out there. This is an area that probably votes 80%, if not higher, Republican
Hmm.
um, across the board. And we had one of our best film festivals out there because that place has been decimated by drug addiction, by the opioid crisis, and their incarceration rates now are the same as some of the big cities in Virginia.
It hit home.
So we were able to go in there where you probably couldn't get an ACLU to get an audience.
Yeah.
But here we come in sharing stories, working with local folks that have survived incarceration to share their stories and lift them up so that people see
That's
that
powerful.
commonality with them. I mean, it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, that's powerful. I didn't think of it. I didn't fully think of it like that. Like you guys definitely like that whole movement. People will let the movies in,
Yeah.
especially, and when you think about it, especially in some of these more quote unquote rural areas or whatnot, they would love a movie, movie festival to come through. So that is really powerful, man.
Yeah. Our first year, actually, at the request of a Republican legislator in Virginia,
Hmm.
we went to this little town in Southside Virginia at the community college down there in Southside Virginia Community College, which wonderful connection. I actually took classes from them while I was locked up.
I did too at Sussex too.
Okay, yeah. I was at Lunenburg and
Yeah.
got my couple classes under my belt with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we're there in Southside Virginia Community College in the town of Alberta. This place is so small. The closest fast food restaurant is like a 20-minute drive away.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That's out
they've
there.
never had anything like this before. It
The
was the
whole
first
town
time.
came out.
Yeah, people just came out that would have no interest necessarily in justice issues, in prison issues, and
Right.
reentry issues, but because hey, there's films coming to our town. Let's go check it out. Let's find out what this is all about.
That's really powerful. I mean, you kind of answered that question, but do you have a story where maybe somebody came to you and like, yo, I never thought of prison like this, or I never thought of.
I mean, the most impactful one that wasn't so much I never thought about it, because that's one side of things is we
Mhm.
want to change the public's mind that's
Mhm.
not impacted by incarceration.
Mhm.
But I've also realized we need to change our own minds. Like those
Indeed.
of us that have been directly impacted, either as survivors ourselves or as loved ones,
Yeah.
we can buy into that negative talk just as much as
Absolutely.
anybody else.
Yeah.
So we were in South Bend, Indiana, and we had our venue there was the auditorium at their main public library. And if you've never been to South Bend, this city, a little city, like I don't know, their money. They got like Catholic indulgence money going out there. I don't know what's going on there, but this was one of the nicest venues we'd ever been to. And it was at the public library.
Yeah.
And because of that, because there's so much going on there was this young couple, probably in their early 20s, that just happened to wander into us because they were going from like the parking lot to something going on in the library.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in and watched the movies. And they came out, the girl, 25, if that, was just about in tears because both she and the guy she was with had been incarcerated.
Wow.
They'd struggled with addiction. And they said it just was transformative to see these people that have been where I've been to be able to do what they're doing now. I didn't want to take it, but she pulled out like $1 out of her wallet. Say, here, we're always free. But she wanted to give something so we could continue to tell these stories. And that was one of the most impactful moments. And then when we go on these college campuses, we have made a concerted effort to get onto more college campuses because if we can get these ideas of the reality of what stuff is like at that younger age, it makes everything else for the work that we all do so much easier down the road. So going onto these college campuses where all they've ever known have been the true crime podcasts, or those things on YouTube, which are just massively dramatized and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they know. And then they come to one of these, just, maybe they had to for a class, or maybe it was, we get like some cultural credit for showing up at this. And then they come out like, wow, I never thought of it that way before. Or if we're able to actually bring in one of the filmmakers and they're actually able to talk to someone who's been incarcerated, who has then just created this film that they've just watched. I mean, it's transformative for them.
I got a movie idea.
All right.
Guy starts a festival and he travels the country and he exposes people to other movie make. Are you guys documenting this stuff? Is there a documentary, anything? I gotta ask because it
Yeah,
seems like that
there's
should be
nothing.
powerful
We
for
are
him.
look. We are a shoestring of a shoestring budget right now.
Got you.
So the only documentation that's going on is whatever you see showing up on our online photo drives or
Whoever's holding the phone up, or
eh,
yeah,
yeah, whoever might. And I do my best to try to
I get
capture all
it.
this
I
after
get it,
the
man.
event. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, we're telling stories. It's never been about us. It's
Yeah,
about the people whose stories we're sharing, whether it's the folks that are the filmmakers or the
yeah.
people that we're bringing in from that community to highlight them in their towns.
It's powerful, man. It's powerful. It's needed. I'm glad this is going on, man. So if somebody wants to connect with you, somebody wants to support, or what's the next big event or next step, any of these things that people need to know.
Yeah, look, you can sign up for our email list on our website. Once again, just if you Google and Thrive Film Festival, you'll find it out there. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Definitely connect with us. Because look, that's how this thing spreads.
Hmm.
We don't have some big $1 million funder, which by the way, if any $1 million funder is watching, yeah, please give me a call.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we don't have some big $1 million funder. So basically, every festival is individually funded by that community. So if you've got a few people that have some logistics ability to like plan an event, that have some connections in the community to be able to reach out to folks to bring them in, then let's do this. If you're at a college,
yeah,
if you're a professor or a part of a student group that wants to bring this to your university or college, reach out to us. I mean, that's how we're spreading. Basically, people I've known or folks who have heard of us who've come to one of our events that happen to be living in another city. That's how we've expanded. That's how we've grown.
I think every single college campus in the history, right? And right, like everybody needs that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and because if younger people understand what the system is, they'll be more moved to cause some changes to it.
And
Um,
if younger folks understand the people that have been incarcerated,
that part.
that we're not some monster that never changes. Most of us were never monsters in the first place. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yep.
But there were actually real people that are just trying to live our lives and trying to make the world a better place, whether that world is the apartment we're trying to hold on to when we lose a job because someone complained about us being a felon,
Mhm.
or whether our world is something bigger where you're doing something where you're actually out and spreading the word and sharing stories on a bigger stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Unique idea. Well, I forgot that. How long has this been going on now?
Oh, we're just in the middle of our third year, or really the beginning of our third year.
Only the third. It feels like you guys have been out here longer than that.
Yeah, we're just rolling.
Big impact.
I look,
Big impact.
I didn't. I was too ignorant to know what I was getting myself into,
You there
and I was
now.
too stubborn to stop once we started rolling.
Sometimes it's better you don't know.
I'm sure you
I'm
know that. Yeah.
Oh, I got a few stories. Sometimes it's better you look up and you find out before it's or after it's too late. But man, I want to say thank you. Again, the same way I did back, the first time we crossed paths. But thank you for the work. I love the arts. I feel like arts will heal the world, man. Bob Marley believed that his music, could change a person's heart, his mind, and there's just something powerful when a
Yeah.
person expresses their pain and their journey and what they've been through a lens where they share it with the world. So thank you for helping to provide such a powerful platform, man. I'm
Well,
looking
thank you
forward to the
for
growth.
amplifying the work that we're doing, and thank you for all the work that you're doing out there. I mean, you've got these shorts you're making. I'd love to get some of them from one of our film festivals
I'm
sometime.
back. I'm back online now. I'm back. I'm off. What do they call it? Paternity leave. I don't know what it was. I did not take one day off. I just stopped traveling, but I'm back. So I'm looking forward, and I would love to connect, and do some stuff, man. I got a stage down here.
Oh,
They reached out.
fantastic.
Yeah, we got access to a stage. Shout out to Atlanta Rec man department down here.
Well, heck, why don't we
Um,
just get the film festival down there then? You got a
that's
little
what I'm saying.
stage? Yeah.
We got an event in June down here. The Life Unit's doing, man. Picks to Peace. So who know? Picks to Peace. Double entendre. I don't know. But no, seriously. After let's connect.
Yeah.
I definitely want to connect and see what we can do. All jokes aside, I really do appreciate and respect everything you do. You got a message for the people before we get up off here. You said some really powerful things, but leave them something to think about, man.
Look, what we are doing, what any of us are really trying to do in this space of reform, of advocacy, of art from impacted folks is just to allow people to share their stories on their terms and let that transform the community around us. When we bring people together, when we create a way to get people in a room to share an experience that transforms the way they understand the world, the way they understand their neighbor, I mean, that's powerful, right?
Yeah.
So let's just look for ways to do that. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything big or fancy. It could be something as simple as sharing the work that someone is doing about um, incarceration reality shows. Got to give a big shout out to Airs against incarceration reality shows and everything they're doing to make sure that false narratives aren't part of our popular culture.
Yeah.
Or it could just be sharing the truth about what it means to have been incarcerated if someone starts natively talking about people who've been locked up. Or it could be creating a popular podcast and getting people on from around the country to share their stories. So, whatever level it is, wherever you find yourself in life, you can use that space to help change that narrative, to help transform people's minds.
That's powerful. You really can. You really
Yep.
can, man. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. You guys, make sure you check out In Thrive Film Festival, man. They're doing some really amazing work. They're providing a platform for the individuals that are telling the stories of the things that go on when it comes to incarceration and more, man. And I just want to say this again. Some of the most amazing films, some of the most amazing music, some of the most amazing foods, whatever they're in places where it's not where the big crowds are at. Sometimes you got to go to the mom and pop's diner, or you got to go ask to get. You got to go to those places and get the really good stuff. So make sure you check out And Thrive. What was the name of the one movie where you've got a role in it again?
Oh, that's called Where's My Coffee Cup?
Check out check out that he's in Where's My Coffee Cup, which is a very complex thing when you think about anybody that's done time. But again, man, check out the work. Thank you again, David. And we really appreciate all that you do, man. In Thrive, and we are out, y'all.